Today in this video we're going to talk about some more on comparisons. In HSK2 we talked about a basic way to say comparisons where we have subject, be something else, and then we have an adjective. So that means, 我比你高, I am taller than you. 高 is tall, so 我比你高 means I am taller than you. That was a basic comparison. Today we're going to jump into some more things about comparisons. And first we're going to talk about 一样 and then 一样 plus adjective. So first let's talk with 一样, just its basic meaning is same. Literally, this means one, and this means kind of like, it means like type or stuff, or so it's like it's the same essence, it's the same substance, basically. So that's what it means, like literally, or like split up, but together it means same. Okay, so I'm going to give you two examples of when it means same. As an adjective, like saying these two things are the same. And then I'm going to give you two examples of putting it before an adjective to mean equally that adjective. Like equally tall. These two things are equally tall. They're the same. 这两个一样. Okay, it's a very basic sentence. 这两个, what does that mean? 这两个. It means these two things. But the things is like understood. It's not there. 这两个, these two things, 一样, are the same. Get that? So 这两个 is the subject, and then 一样 is the adjective, meaning same, describing the subject. The subject refers to two things, but it is one subject. These two things, and then are the same. Wow, complex sometimes, isn't it? Just talking about this stuff, you have to like split hairs. Okay, this is an all-set learning example. 美国文化跟中国文化. What is 文化? Do you know? It means culture. So 美国文化, American culture. 跟, remember 跟? It means with sometimes, but sometimes it's just a connecting word like 和 to connect two nouns. And that's what it is here. It's just saying this and this. So 美国文化跟中国 Chinese culture 不一样. What does that mean? American culture and Chinese culture are not the same. Wow, mind blown. Just kidding. 我和你一样. Okay, so that's saying that two things are the same or two things are not the same. Or, you could have three things or whatever too. But some things are the same or some things are not the same. Now we're going to talk about saying the same adjective, which means equally adjective. In English, we would say equally. So 我和你一样高. 我和你一样高. That means, you can probably guess, 高 means tall. What does that mean? I and you are equally tall. We're the same height. 我和你一样高. We are equally tall. 这个电影, do you know what that means? I like, for whatever reason, I've chosen to put 电影 in a lot of examples. I don't actually watch that many movies. I didn't before I was married and had kids. I watched some, but not a ton. I was never a movie buff, and now I hardly have time to watch any movies at all. 这个电影跟那个电影. So this movie 跟那个电影一样好看. 一样好看. What do you think that means? Equally good. Or equally pleasant to see? I don't know. Sometimes just are equally good. We'll just say that. Equally good. But with like what it's like to watch it, not like necessarily the quality of it. Anyway, 这个电影跟那个电影一样好看. So this movie 跟那个电影, that movie 一样好看. Equally good. And then I just wanted to point out that 和 and 跟 in these uses are interchangeable. Just like they are often interchangeable. But when we're talking about a phrase like this and this, this and this, 一样 something, or just 一样, then 跟 and 和 are interchangeable there. Hey, in this section we're going to talk about another kind of comparison, and this is 有 to say as. So it's saying something is as adjective as another thing. We saw this in a negative form in HSK 2 when we talked about how to say something is not as adjective as another thing. Like this shirt is not as 好看, it's not as good looking, or isn't as nice. This shirt 没有 this shirt 好看. So this shirt 没有 or may, that shirt 好看. So that means that the second one was more 好看 than this one, because this one is not as 好看 as the second one. So we saw that in a negative form and how to say something is not as adjective as another thing. Here we're going to see in positive form to say something is as adjective as another thing. This is most often used in questions, though it could be used in statements as well, but you'll see it in questions most. And let me show you how it could look. 你有我高吗? 你有我高吗? You have or as 我高吗? Are you as tall as me? That's what that means. Are you as tall as me? If I wanted to say, are you taller than me? It would be 你比我高吗? That would be asking, are you taller than me? But if I want to say, are you as tall as me? Is your height as tall? It's not necessarily, are we equally tall? But it's kind of like asking, I know about what height am I as tall as you? Like, you're tall or whatever, and do I come to the same? Am I as tall? I'm having a hard time parsing that, but here we go. The next question. 绿的, the green one. 绿的有红的, the red one. 便宜吗? Cheap or inexpensive. 吗? So is the green one as inexpensive as the red one? 绿的有红的便宜吗? And that's that. It's quite simple. Hope that makes sense. Hey, now I'm gonna give a summary of the ways that we have learned to talk about comparison. There's kind of three ways. There's sets of twos here. There's like a positive statement and then a negative, like a negation statement, a negative statement. And I'll make some comments along the way. But this is a quick summary, all using 高, which is my kind of go-to adjective to talk about comparison, as you may have noticed. So 高 means tall. So let's talk about each of these. 你比我高, 你比我高. So this, what is it? Can you translate that into English? You, be, I, tall. You, the subject of the sentence, 比我, compared to me, tall. So you are taller than me. Now you may remember that you can put modifiers on either side of the adjective to adjust the degree or to like adjust the meaning a little bit. So if I put high, it means like even taller. 更 often has that meaning too, like even, or what else could we put in the beginning there? I forget. Oh, 你比我, I forget. Oh, 要 or 还要. Okay, and then afterwards we can put 很多, 你比我高很多, you are much taller than me. 你比我高一点, you are a little bit taller than me. There's modifiers like comparative modifiers that can go on the other side. But the basic grammar or the basic idea of the sentence is the same. 你比我高, or modifiers on either side. Now we have the negation of that. So you are taller than me. 你不比我高. 你不比我高. And this means you are not taller than me. And so you are not taller than me. All right, so this one is 你和我高, 你和我一样高. Oops. If you can read Chinese and can follow me, you'll notice a big oopsie right there. That doesn't belong there. 你和我一样高. Remember, this means you and I are equally tall. We are the same height. And then the negation of that is 你不和我一样高. We are not equally tall. And then I hope you're seeing the different emphasis between these. This is you are not taller than me. This is we are not equally tall. We are not the same height. And then here we have 你有我高. Now these two you'll see are very close, but there's just a very nuanced difference in meaning or emphasis. Even in English, it's the same. I believe it works the same in English. So you can think about that. 你有我高. You are as tall as me. 你没有我高. 你没有我. Are you as tall? You are not as tall as me. So you can especially it looks like these say the same thing. 你和我一样高. You are equally tall as me. And this one says you come to you are as tall as me. But you can see the difference when you negate them. 你不和我一样高. You are not as tall as me. You are not as tall as me. You are not the same height as me. That's I should translate it that way. You are not the same height as me. We are not equally tall. And this is you are not as tall as me. And the difference is that this is saying we are not exactly the same. Where this one is saying you are not as tall as me, meaning you are shorter than me. You do not come up to my height. This is saying you do come up to my height. And in fact, I think if somebody if I say this to somebody, 你有我高, like there's something, if someone says to me, let's say someone is an inch taller than me, and they say to me, hey Eldon, 我没有你高, I'm not as tall as you. And I say, no, 你有我高. That it means like, of course you're as tall as me. In fact, I didn't say this, but in fact, you're a little bit taller. Does that make sense? So this is saying is or not exactly the same, essentially. Where this is talking about, does one come up to or have as much height as the other person? Does that make sense? That's a very nuanced difference, but it's there. So there's a little summary of all the ways we have learned to compare. 比较 is the word, to compare, 比较.